Welcome to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Hello everyone. Today I want to share with you how I made this 5x7 swing fold card, and it was inspired by Sam from Mixed Up Crafts and her 6x6 card, and I've put a little didgeridoo there to the top right for her tutorial. So here's my template. Take a screenshot and then you'll have that for yourself, but I'll go through it here in the tutorial. So this is my piece of 7x10, but what I've done, and you can see in the template, I have in brackets here 9 3/4, because I like to take a little bit off this end here so that when it sits in my card base, if you cut it 7x10, then when the card folds, you'll have, your piece will stick out. So if you take a little bit off the ends here, and I do it before I do it at this point, then this will sit in here, that will go on like that, and then this will sit down like that. So that's how it sits in your card. So you want it to be just shy of the edge so that you don't see it when the card is closed, and because it'll be like that, then when it folds you won't see it along the edge. Well, it's kind of coming out now because I have to glue it, but you won't see it. But if it's exactly 5x7, then when you close the card it's going to pop out like that. So you need to take a little bit off. So I would recommend cutting your card at 9 3/4 by 7. And then what I do is I allow the quarter up here. So my first score mark, because I don't want to be going down at 2 1/4, and then it's just easier for me because I'm really bad at maths. If I move it along to the 10, then I know half of my 10 is 5, and then I want to go 2.5 this way and 2.5 that way. And that's how I get my score lines, and I have my little bit off here. Now I want to do my little side pieces, which are these little pieces here, and they're 3/4 of an inch wide. So I'm going to use my scoreboard for doing that, and I'm just going to come down to the first score line here. So 3/4 of an inch from there, and then 3/4 of an inch from here, from 7. So that's 3/4 of an inch and 6 1/4. And then we're going to cut these pieces, this piece out here, like I've done there. So you can use a scissor and cut along the score lines, or you can use a trimmer. I like to use a trimmer, and this is how I do it, using my trimmer. So I find using a trimmer with the wire guide in the center is the best for me. That's what I like to use. So if you put it in, and we're bringing the wire is going to match up with our score line. There we go. So I'm going to drop the trimmer down here. You can see the score line here, each end. I'm going to lift up my guide, bring my blade over to where this score line is, then I'll drop this down, run it up along, and then lift it at where this score line is here. So I'm going to lift my guide, make sure that my wire guide is right where it needs to be, right there. And excuse if my head gets in the way. So I'm going to drop it down there and then bring it up. That should be about it. Yeah, that's not bad going, look. And then I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to move my blade out of the way, bring my wire guide to where my score line is, under here. And then what I'll do is, lifting my guide plate, I'll bring my blade over until it lines up with this line here, and then drop it down and bring it to the end. So drop down my blade, bring it to the end, and if I haven't met it right in the corner, I'll just nibble that with my scissors. Then I'm going to move it down, bring my blade out of the way, match up my score line, then lift my guide plate, just make sure that's right. There we go. Okay, lift my guide plate, bring this over, drop it down and away. And I've kind of gone out a little bit. It's hard to do it when the camera is above me, so I'll do that with the scissors. There we go. Perfect. So then, with this like this, this needs to be a valley fold. And then this is a mountain fold. And these two little tabs are mountain folds as well. So it will sit like that with our mountain fold, and our valley fold. And that's how that's going to sit. And like I said, that then will sit into our card base like so. So now all we need to do now is cut out our part in here, our window. And to do that you can use dies, or you can just cut out. You could actually come an inch down, an inch in, an inch up and an inch, draw your lines and then cut it out, or you can use a die, whichever you want to do yourself. So I'll show you by, not everyone has dies, so if I'll do it using a ruler. So I've sped the video up now, and that way it'll be a quicker video rather than sitting here for 45 minutes. We'll be able to reduce the time. So you can see here I'm making marks along each side, coming in an inch, and then I'm joining up those marks. So I'm outlining a rectangular shape. And when we cut that rectangle out, we'll have a open area. So I'm going to use my Fiskars Trimmer. I find this the easiest for me, but you could use a craft knife and a ruler if that's what you prefer. I'm sorry, I get my head in the way quite a lot of the time throughout this. I needed to be able to see down to make sure I didn't go too far in my cuts, but this is just to give you the general idea of how I cut out my center panel. So I'm going to erase the pencil marks that I have on the card base and use my little brush to get away any little eraser pieces. So now our center panel is going to fit inside the hole, but it's too snug, so I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch from the right hand side and the bottom, and that'll give us enough of a gap the whole way around. I don't want to take any more than that off. So that'll give us then our swing part. Now I'm using this lovely PDF from Helz Cuppleditch. She has a fabulous Facebook page, and when you join her Facebook group, you get to enjoy some free PDF images. So I'm using this one. I had an extra sheet printed out, and I love these little houses. They're so cute. So now here we go. I have my little house panel that I have cut out. That measures 2 1/4 by 3 1/2, and I'm sitting that on a piece of brown card or brown paper, and that measures 4 1/2 by 2 1/2, but you can see there my little house panel isn't long enough, so I've stamped out the word home, And that little piece where the home is on measures 2 1/4 by 3/4, and that's going to bridge the gap so we have a nice even border going all the way around. Next, I'm going to stick down the insert swing piece. That's what I'm calling it. I don't know what it's officially called, but that's what I'm calling it. I have stuck down the full panel on the right hand side, and then I'm sticking down the little tabs to the front part of the card on the inside. I missed a little bit of pencil mark there, so I've rubbed it off. Now our little panel with our houses on it, we need to stick that down, but you only want glue to go on the right hand side so it sticks to the swing panel, which is on the inside. Now I have this panel of the houses, and I'm going to put that on the inside of our card. So I have cut that to size, and it's 5 inches, just shy of 5 inches, and I've scored it down the middle so that it'll sit nicely in here. And I'm going to bring it down so it's level with the bottom of my card panel. So I'm just gluing that down with some liquid adhesive, and that gives me time to move it around. Now I have this little strip of colors. These are beautiful. It's like a little patchwork of colors. And I'm going to stick that on the edge there on the swing panel inside and trim that off. So with that all done now, I need to stamp a sentiment inside, and I have a sentiment in my stash, "Love lives here," and I'm going to stamp that down there. Next, I'm going to do a frame for the front of the card. Now this is optional, you don't have to do this, you could just leave it with the white card base as it is and maybe embellish it, but I've taken a piece of card stock here, and it measures 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and I'm coming in 3/4 of an inch the whole way around. Then I'm going to take my Fiskars trimmer, and I'm going to cut out that center rectangular shape. And this I've found is the easiest way for me. Unless you're using dies, then you can take a smaller die to cut out that inside panel. I'm going to rub off the pencil marks, and once that's all done, then I can stick that down onto the front of my card base. Now sometimes I get little fluffy bits along where I trim my paper. The blade on my Fiskars trimmer needs to be changed out, so I just use an emery board that I keep specifically for my paper crafting, and I just give them a little file off, and it's perfect, works a treat. So I have plenty of liquid adhesive now so that I can move my frame around and get it exactly where I want it. Perfect. And the frame then matches the inside panel that the little house there and the new home sentiment are on. So when I punch out or die cut out little hearts, whatever excess I have, I put in this little bowl, and that little punch there is an X-cut border punch, and it cuts out 2 tiny little hearts, so I love using that when I want smaller little hearts. So now I'm going to put some hearts, some little red hearts sprinkled all around the front of the card. I'm going to put 2 where my home sentiment is, and then 3 in the bottom right hand corner and 2 on the top right hand corner, and then 2 smaller ones on my little house panel as well. Once I've that done, I'm going to put 2 little hearts on the inside of my card where the "Love lives here" sentiment is. 1 to the left of the L in love, and 1 to the right of the E in here. I'm also going to pop 1 down at the bottom there beside that lovely greeny blue coloured house. So I'm going to finish up with another one just there, and then I'm going to take my glossy accents, and I have some put into this fine tipped nozzle bottle, and I'm going to put some glossy accents where all the little windows are on our houses, as well as on my hearts that are sprinkled around the card, and it just gives a nice glossy and a kind of a sticker look to the front of the card. And then that's it. That is our 5 by 7 swing fold card all finished up. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. If you have, you might consider clicking on the like button below, and if you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing, and if not, you might click on the subscribe button down below. There's a bell icon beside that, and if you click on that, you'll be notified when I make videos. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Here's some images of the card that we've made. Until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay home. Bye for now.